Well, prepare to be shell-shocked this week by the monster from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Season 1, Shellshock. First appearing in the episode The Trouble with Shellshock, this tortoise monster with a traffic light on top of his body was an interesting combination of creatures, in truth. Now, why was there a traffic light? Well, he had the ability to speed up time, stop time, or slow down time. And he could reverse time as well, and it worked well against the Rangers, as most time effects normally do. Now, this was not a monster summoned forth by Rita or Finster. It was actually an idea by Squat and Babu, who decided to take the initiative on this and create their own monster to destroy the Power Rangers, while hopefully getting some notice for themselves. Because Rita was feeling under the weather and sick, she had a massive headache and it just would not go away. Now, they were ignored the entire time by the rest of the minions, who were probably going, oh, thank God I can take a breather. But hey, Squat and Babu, they were trying to be those go-getters that rarely seen by true villains these days. Stealing some monster mold, they slapped together this monster really quickly. And I'm pretty sure it was not Squat's fingers who did this, but Babu, who is more delicate with the alchemic goods, so he probably was able to get all the creases correctly, get all those pointy parts, and then it was probably Squat who went, I'm going to put this on top of it. And that is how we probably got, well, that horrific traffic light on top of it. So they put it through the Monster-O-Matic and then sent it to Earth, while waiting in the bushes to see exactly what was going to happen. Now, they gave him a pep talk, telling him to use his stop ray to render them immobile. By render them, he meant the Power Rangers. And then he could use his green light to obliterate anything they wanted. Well, instead, he obliterates the basketballs that the Power Rangers were playing with. Except for Tommy wasn't there, because he had just left for karate training. Now, when he shoots the ball, the Rangers go, where the heck was that? We're definitely under attack, and they all morph. Now, Trini is immediately hit by a green beam and jogs backwards, unable to stop before basically he retracts his arm and reveals a baseball bat, for some reason, something out of nowhere, and makes them dodge baseballs. Now, I don't know why he was using that. He's not a type of baseball player looking monster, but hey, apparently he wants to just have a good old time. Seeing that it's not being very effective though, he decides to hit them with the red beam, stopping them in place, even as Jason is rolling mid-air. He's like just frozen there. I'm going, whoo, ugh. I hope putting his head back into a shell and then pulling out a cannon. Yes, a cannon. Ooh, ladies love cannons. And he fires it at them, but Jason blasts him and basically cause him to scream and cry, because it also hits his creators with his blade blaster as they retreat. Now, how he broke out of his spell, well, when he did that, he accidentally switched over and released Jason and the others from their frozen state. Now, while he's retreat, Rita, feeling better, confronts her two flunkies and goes, what are you doing? What is this? Are you playing games? We're going to destroy them. And she goes, well, not to waste a monster, but let's enlarge Shellshock and send it back immediately. Who basically, as soon as he jumps down, makes a reference to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which are in the same universe as the Power Rangers, though they didn't know that at the time. Now, the only way to free the other Rangers, who were not released, was by Trini going to retrieve these special type of flowers, Drendry flowers. Now, this is the only weakness which can cripple his powers and unfreeze the other Rangers. This leaves Jason to fight alone with the Tyrannosaurus Dinozord. Now, why are these flowers working against it? Well, remember, Babu is an alchemist person, so he would have built these with some type of weakness, or he would have known it would have been a some type of weakness, but he probably would have thought, it's not going to be here. Let's not worry about it too much. Or maybe it was also part of the creation of it giving its time-stopping abilities. I don't know for certain, but it does sound pretty plausible, seeing that Babu is a great alchemist. Now, during the big battle fight, Shellshock seems to be doing pretty well against the Tyrannosaurus Dinozord, and even uses his bat to great effect to beat the crap out of the T-Rex. Like, well, essentially he was a naughty cat in that bat was instead a roll of toilet paper to smack him on the nose. Or maybe it was a dog. I can't remember. But either way, Tyrannosaurus is not doing very well. However, Zordon is finally able to get a hold of Tommy, who summons the Dragozord and is able to tail swipe him down to size. Now, this is where the battle gets interesting. At first, Shellshock gets really happy. He's like, oh, I get to beat up more opponents now. Well, the Dragozord smacks him with his tail, sending him flying through the air, which then leads to the Dragonzord able to smack him down so hard he goes flying into the air after, like, hitting the ground. And then, when that happens, he is clotheslined by the Dragonzord, who sends him back several miles. Yeah, it's interesting here. Something straight out of wrestling. Being smart and clever, just as any pro wrestler would be, he feigns having sand in his eyes, allowing to fake it because, wrestling is fake. Oh, I just upset some of my people here, but hey, whatever. Allows him to blast the Zords with his stop beams, rendering them useless. However, Trini seems to arrive perfectly in time with the flowers, jumps onto Shellshock's head, which he sprinkles on the pollen. The pollen cripples his traffic lights, and they malfunction. He falls to his knees, going, I'm allergic! Well, doesn't just end there, though. Now, freeing the Zords and the other Rangers, things start to get very, very interesting, because now Shellshock is powerless, and the Dragonzord bombards him with a double-handed salvo of missiles, the first and only time they are ever used in the TV series, and I mean it, the first and only time they are ever used. And then leading up to a combo with the Tyrannosaurus vaporizing him with a ground breath attack. Yes, a ground breath attack. Not fire, because that'd be too fun, but a breath attack made of the ground. Now, that would be the end of Shellshock for a time, but he would return again in the Island of Illusions, along with many other monsters assaulting the Rangers. However, these are just simple illusions of monsters and have no physical form rather than just their appearance of having a physical form, and they went to scare the Rangers into submission. However, in the end, they realize that, and as they get close, they disappear and fade away into the mists, leaving us not as shell-shocked as we might have assumed we would be. Now, that is Shellshocked, and think about that, guys. He is a monster who looks straight out of something out of a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle wannabe type of villain there. He's got the mutant powers, and he looks normal except for that dinky looking little look at that. It's that traffic light. It throws me off. Everything else looks fine, but then he pulls out a baseball bat and his head turns into a cannon when he goes back into his head. I don't know how I feel about that, but Babu and Squat almost beat the Rangers. So you know what? Maybe they had something going. Well, guys, you guys have a good one. I'll be in more episodes soon. I got a little sick under the weather, so I don't want to be spreading around too much. I know it wasn't COVID, so thank you guys. If you guys were curious about that, be good. It's not. It's just the flu going around, and I'm glad for that because I don't need to deal with any more issues. Thank you guys. Have a good one. May the power protect you always, and make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon.